I feel like I've already done this video recently. In for a review, we've got 2013's Elysium on 4K Blu-ray. This won't be a review on the movie itself, we're just going to talk about the video and the audio quality. But before we get into it, if you're new to the channel and you're into audio and video gear and new movies, be sure to tap the subscribe button for new weekly videos. Alright, let's go over a few tech specs. The movie was shot in 3.3K and 1080p. It's got a 4K DI. It's rated R. Runtime is 109 minutes, and the aspect ratio is 235:1, which means it's got letterbox bars. This is going to sound basically the same as what I said about the digital streaming review. Remember, this was available to stream months before the physical release, and I know you guys like a good physical release. I know I do. As far as video quality goes, in comparison to the digital stream, the image does have a more consistently stable image. So during parts where there's fast motion or quickly moving camera pans, there's no breakup in the motion where you might see some compression artifacts. There's also slightly better compression when it comes to the darker scenes, so you should have less banding or less of a pixelized image. This will of course depend on your network speed, so the digital stream can look pretty darn close to a physical copy if you have a quick enough connection. All that being said, this is another knockout Sony transfer. It's clean, it's sharp, it's 4K crisp. If you're not a fan of film grain, then you're going to be overjoyed with the way this movie looks. Detail is just as good as any digitally shot movie that was filmed today. You'll see all the close-up shots reveal every single pore and wrinkle in Bourne's face, and the amount of detail you can make out in the mech suits are so clean you can almost touch it. The Los Angeles environment is also just as refined, texturally. Buildings are run down, landscapes are layered with scattered debris, and the interiors are equally as detailed. Let's not forget those digital effects. The robots and Wickus getting his face blown off still look real even by today's CGI standards. HDR usage here gives this presentation a glowingly bright visual aesthetic. Those scenes that take place outside have a warm, bright hue, which gives you that sense that maybe this movie takes place during the summertime. The stuff that happens in Los Angeles is mostly earthy tones, with browns, yellows, oranges, blues, and within the city there's grays and blacks. It's not the most colorful looking until you get into Elysium. That's where you'll get the nice vivid splashes of green grass, blue skies, and water. Specular highlights can get eye-blindingly bright from flames and electric guns, and as mentioned before, black levels are spot on with great low-level detail. It's deep and contrasty and does add to the image depth and layer separation.
It's fine.
Audio is in Dolby Atmos, and it's an active mix throughout. Looking at the Atmos viewer, even during the non-action parts, every channel stays lit most of the time. In Chapter 3, when the ship takes off to Elysium, you'll hear those missiles whiz by the back channels and explode throughout the rest of the speakers. One of the coolest parts is when Jason shoots the robot in slow motion in Chapter 7. If you follow the yellow balls, you can see them move from back to front just as the bullets do on screen. It's perfect movement and ends with a hefty level of bass. And speaking of bass, there's some demo-worthy moments in this. The robot getting shot is one of them, and just about any time there's a ship hovering overhead, there's a tremendous amount of low frequency that vibrates the air. If your subs can dig low enough, you should feel a ton of pressure. I remember mentioning I thought bass lacked a bit in the digital stream, and I still think it comes up a little short here for that hard-hitting slam, but it does feel more tactile, and the low end is an improvement over the streaming version. I felt the soundstage was more open, especially during the interior scene at the warehouse, so you'll hear more details in the background, and dialogue was fine all the way through, so no issues there. So for audio, I'm gonna go with a 9. This has got an active mix with great immersion, whether it's quiet or action-heavy. Bass digs crazy low, but I did feel it could have hit a little harder. Still, it's no slouch. I think if you need more demo material, then this will give you a few scenes to pick from. For video, I'm gonna go with a 9.5. This is one of the best looking catalog titles out there. If you want a movie with clean, crispy 4K visuals, then this movie's gonna be it. There's a ton of details and the HDR has plenty of pop and brightness. Now I do think if you have a solid internet connection and you already bought the digital version, I don't know if I could say that this is a major upgrade from that. Because at least for me, I do think the digital stream is pretty close to the physical disc. If you've got a very resolving system and you do want the best of the best, then clearly this is the best way to get it. So those are my thoughts on Elysium on 4K Blu-ray. Have you seen it and what'd you think of the transfer? Leave a comment and let us know. Now if you want to grab this disc, I'll leave some links for it down below in the video's description. As always guys, thanks for watching. If you want, you can follow us on social media, and if you want to support the channel and get exclusive content and great discounts on audio and video gear, then stop by our Patreon page. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys again in the next video.